Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, July 13th, 2020. We begin at 7:03. This meeting is available on the web and through Zoom and through calling in. First item, we will do a roll call attendance for the board members. So Tracy Sharkey, aye.
Katie Grace Dudley, aye.
Art Montmany, aye.
Mark Mungum, aye.
Eric Harris?
Aye.
Okay. All right, and Mike Greco is absent for the time being. He may join us, and Paul Beckwith has sent in his resignation. So just to let the board know, so we've got a seat available right now. So the first item on the agenda, I typically would recuse myself, but they did request an continuance. Steve, did they say when?
They did not, but I think they're reviewing as we requested. Their engineers are reviewing the stormwater, the changes in the stormwater to the site plan review that was done with planning board and the town engineer. So I think that looks like that conversation went back and forth the last couple of days. As a board, we did, because we have a lot of few agenda items on today that the board probably was going to be looking for procedurally. They have planning board approval first. So we did set up a meeting for a week from tonight, just for some procedural items to clean up any items that we want to wait for planning board approval. So we can put them on for July 6th, July 20th, or you can put them on for August 10th.
Board, what's your pleasure? So the first item on our agenda that we're talking about, we're just continuing it to a date certain for 0 Wallum Lake Road, ASD Wallum, Mass Solar.
Understood it's being continued, but are we potentially talking about adding a meeting to the schedule to cover these items?
It's already been added, the 20th, but I'm not sure that planning board will be acting on it before the 20th, which means they have the one meeting on the 15th, this Wednesday.
So why don't we wait and see what happens on the 20th and go from there?
Yeah.
So do you want to just continue to the 20th?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Okay, all right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue that.
So moved.
Okay. Second.
Okay, to the July 20th at 7 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mark or Eric?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungum,
And I'll just abstain for the record.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, Mark Mungum also says we don't have enough members.
All right.
We could wait till Mike gets here. If you want to table this to the end, we can do that too. Board, are you okay with that?
Why are we adding another meeting next week?
So that we can close out.
Well, we don't have to. It was suggested that we added one with the town clerk just in case there's quite a few. It depends on the commission. So we're anticipating there's 3 or 4 public hearings that are in front of the Conservation Commission and in front of site plan review. And site plan review, those is not until, or planning board is not until Wednesday. So the commission has, they can certainly go ahead and vote on some of these projects like 93 Davis Street, 45 Oak Street, and I think it was this Wallum Lake that they were anticipating that maybe they would want to have site plan review decision final and along with that review on the stormwater on those projects before moving forward with your vote. So if that's the case, that we could, because we're so jammed up that we're gonna just add an extra meeting on the 20th, or you can just put everything off until the next scheduled conservation meeting, which would be August 10th.
Okay, thanks for the explanation. So is it the will of the other members of the board to just have another meeting? I mean, I wasn't consulted about whether,
Nope, you're
We
right
can
on
have
that.
it.
It's a good conversation to have, Mark. We put it just in case the board wanted to have it, that it was in the queue for the cable committee to post the Zoom link. We certainly don't have to have it. I was just being preemptive in case you wanted to have it. There was some discussion last meeting, maybe waiting, for planning board, or you could just certainly just wait for the next scheduled conservation meeting, which is not August 3rd, but it got pushed off a week to August 10th because won't be around on the 3rd. So we pushed the two conservation meetings in August just back a week, August 10th and August 24th. But you certainly can wait just to the next meeting.
Why don't we table this to see how things go tonight and go from there? Take it up again at the end.
Okay, so that'll be what we'll do. We'll move the first agenda item. They did request to be number 1 on our agenda, so we did allow them to be the first. We will wait until the end. We're gonna move them to the end and move on to the next item, which is 7 p.m. Notice of intent, public hearing continued, Orange Street. And they have a DEP number now. So we did do a site walk. Steve, do you want to just, Steve Ziff, do you want to just take us on a recap of this?
Yep, so this is at the end of Orange Street. We did a site walk 2 weeks ago with the Conservation Commission to look at the wetland crossing, which they redid to make sure it conformed with the stormwater, the stream crossing guidelines of the DEP. We looked at the replication area. We looked at the crossing itself. Margaret Bacon redid the design for the crossing and the delineation. They looked at moved the replication area towards the roadway a little bit. And then, and there was some discussion at the site walk about saving some of the trees in the replication area itself, not taking them all down to save some of the shading. And that's where we stand at this point. I can try to bring the plan up if you want.
Does the applicant want to have any other comments added or board members? Board,
I
any comments, questions?
thought we were pretty much set.
Yep, no further questions. Appreciate the site walk.
as I remembered at the site walk, we talked about, as you said, or as Steve said, saving trees within the wetland replication area. And I think we picked out a certain tree that we wanted to have saved. And that's my memory of it, which.
Yeah, that one specific tree.
Yeah, we'd have to put that in the order of conditions.
Yeah, we'll put it as a condition. Yeah. Is it shown on the plan at all? That larger tree, Steve?
It's not.
Okay. We want to just have the applicant tag it or wrap it. And then when Steve goes out to inspect the erosion control, he can just notify, notice it.
Yeah, I'd have their, we can put in one of the first orders to have their wetland consultant contact us before they do any work in replication area to verify that the trees are marked properly.
Yeah. Steve Donatelli, you have anything else to add? You're muted. You're on. Hold on one second. Let me just let him know. You're on mute. Steve D. The little top blue, wave your cursor over. There you go. Okay.
On now?
Yes.
There you
Okay.
go.
You want to just repeat?
I don't know how we use this. Yeah, I have nothing else to add at this moment in time. I can definitely flag the trees that we wanted to save. Another big one. Definitely put in the order conditions, you know, that Margaret is to contact the Concom before any work is done.
Okay. Steve, you got that? Steve
Yep.
Z? Okay. All right. Board, you all set? That was just pretty much the only extra condition, right? So this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns in regards to 116 Orange Street? No one's in the waiting room, right, Steve? That you can see? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Board, first we would close the public hearing and then make a motion to issue, if that's your pleasure.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing for 116 Orange Street.
Seconded.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor on roll call?
Art Monmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, all right. Very good. Now the issuance with the one condition.
I make a motion to issue the order of condition, issue
Mm-hmm. You got
with,
it.
with the added condition about the tree and to contact Steve Zisk in advance of starting any work. I mean, the usual order of conditions. We call Steve before you set up the erosion controls and so forth.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second,
Motion's been seconded by Art. All those in favor of roll call, please?
Art Monmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, that'll do it. Thank you very much, Steve D. And
very much.
we'll figure out, we do have a motion tonight to allow for electronic signatures for recording for the registry deeds. So depending on the timing, we don't know if we'll do it in person or if we'll electronically sign, but we'll get it to you.
Terrific. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Okay. Next item, sorry, I'm just getting to the agenda. Okay. Next item on the agenda, 7 p.m., public hearing continued, the amended notice of intent for 49 and 53 Woodland Road, Deer Crossing Development, LLC. Steve, you want to give us a little update on this?
They just asked for a continuance. I'm not sure. I reached out to them. They called me and I reached out back. I didn't get a hold of Tim, but I think Jack Nealon is here.
I see him. Hi, Jack.
Hi
guys, how's everybody doing?
You're a little.
Tim is also on the call.
Oh, okay. That's why it was echoey. Do you want to go over the amendments?
Yeah, so just by way of update, Dave Marquardon and I were in front of the commission middle of May, and we had approved an amended sequence for a single family home to be built on the two lots 57 and 58. Unfortunately, as the update would have it, we have lost the buyer for the two lots, and therefore we can never finalize a house location. You know, I think Tim and I are here tonight to let you know that we still intend to build a single family home there and continue with the sequence that the board has most recently approved with the temporary crossing, getting up to the lot to remove the material, to then create the driveway and then put in the culvert. And we'd like to take advantage of this during the dry season and follow that sequence. So I think we just wanted to come before you tonight and let you know that we don't have that exact house design because the buyer had backed out. But we do still intend to clear the area as designed as a single family house lot, not the 2 house lots.
So as far as the amendments are concerned to the existing DEP number, what's the summary of those amendments? Just eliminating the one driveway. So Steve, could you pull up the plan for us? So are you looking to close this out tonight with the new plan as proposed?
No, we are not looking to close this out tonight. I think we're looking to give the commission an update and saying that we no longer are moving forward with the house design that we had brought through on the plan that Steve's about to bring up. But we do still intend on moving forward as if it is a single family lot and not the 2 lots, and then selling it as such.
So what are we waiting for to close out your request for the amended NOI?
A house design from a house design and exact location from a new potential buyer.
Okay.
I'm just having trouble screen sharing tonight.
So you don't want to just have like a square laid out?
I don't believe at this point we'd like to do that because it's such a unique lot that I think we'd like the buyer to actually have a say in where the house sits.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously outside the buffer zone as much as possible, but the way the house is now, it has a detached garage, and we're not certain that that's going to be the house plan moving forward.
I mean, we can continue you to the August 10th, but I wouldn't want to keep waiting for this buyer and continue and continue and continue.
Right.
So I would prefer if you kind of see what, do a larger footprint than what you're anticipating. And then if you adjust, within the buffer and close it out.
I think, Stacy, this is Tim.
Hi,
Hi,
name and address, please.
Tim Nealon, Deer Crossing Development, 87 Elm Street, Hopkinton.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
I think our reluctance to close it out is that if we can't find a buyer that will take both lots and build one house, we need to go back and develop it under the order of conditions that was originally issued.
Mm-hmm.
But we were very happy when we had a buyer. Unfortunately, that deal became a victim of COVID-19 and job loss.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hoping that we will have the same luck going forward,
Okay.
especially once we're able to cut and get people to get up in there and see the value of their lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't want to lose the right in the future to come back to the board if that happened, to the commission rather, and say, we have to revert back to the 2 lots as originally designed. And
Right. So are you looking to request to be continued tonight?
what we're really looking for is for the commission to say, all right, go ahead with your the plan that was proposed before the commission at the last meeting. The last meeting we had attended. In other words, there's a revised sequence of construction, which we would like to implement.
That was part of the filing for the amendment.
Right.
So
Yes,
it sounds
that's
like you're
correct.
looking for a consensus from the board that you can do that sequence, but not close out your amended request.
Yes, I think that's what ultimately would help us, that we would have the option if it was necessary, to go back to the 2 lots.
You can't see the plan, can you, anyone?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, thank you. I can see it.
I can't see it. That's,
I'm sorry. I mean, it's not great. It's not
I-
Zoom digital level.
Tiny.
I can't see it. So I think where we left off was that the clearing, I think the commission was all set with the limit of disturbance, the crossing for the one house, the access driveway up to the top of the area and the clearing. Where the commission, I think, was looking for was there was some dispute on where the location of the new dwelling was going to go and how far into the buffer zone it was going. So I think I might be wrong, but I think the only change is that we were looking for for them is to actually get the location or the type of house where the house was going to go.
Right.
I don't know if that was correct or not. So I think they want to go over there and clear the lot so they can sell it. And maybe come back, and if the location of the house changes, then they're going to want to tweak that 20 feet here and there. Is that what you're looking for?
The construction sequence, they've rearranged.
They rearranged that too, right? I don't have that. I thought they were continuing, so I didn't have that on my.
That's okay.
So how do we know if there's going to be one driveway or two?
Right. I mean, I'm not going to approve something that if we don't know what the final location of the house is going to be.
Well, it was always the one entrance, right?
Valid.
Yep, they've cleared up to the crossing.
Okay. I think there's gonna be confusion, so I would prefer to have exactly what you want to do before we make any decisions. I don't see, unless the scope of work is the same as the active order that we have right now. I don't have that in front of me. I don't want any confusion on what's going on and what's allowed to be done.
I think the scope of work is the same exact amount of numbers of sequence, but it's just the order that changes. So the new updated sequence allows us to go up and get material to then create the driveway.
Right.
Which is something that we talked about at the last meeting, that we would clear up to the crossing, do a temporary crossing to be able to have vehicles bring the rock down. We would process it, and then that's what we would use to make our culvert, or to make the pad for the culvert. So I think what we're really trying to do is get the culvert in to either get a single family house or two houses up there. Ideally, we would like to do a single family house because it's one project. But I think we're nervous that if we have the commission vote that we're going to finalize this plan, we won't be able to go back with ease and be able to build the two lots if that's the situation we find ourselves in.
Right, so the activity that you are looking to do, it's a little bit different sequence, but the activity that you're looking to do is allowed under your existing active order, correct?
Correct.
So they're not, the applicants just proposing to eliminate one or the other with the amendment, right?
Correct, and replace the previous sequence.
Okay, so board, what's your thoughts on this? Art.
This is the one we did a site walk on, right?
Yeah.
And the wetland, there's a little intermittent stream there.
That's
Is that
right.
right?
Yes.
Okay, this is the one that gets dry after a certain point in the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Up the hill.
Okay. I don't know how comfortable I am when I don't know what the project's going to end up looking at. I got to be honest. I know the one main driveway is going to go up and then it's going to split off if there's two houses. But I think it might be best to continue this, at least for now, and see where we go. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Katie Grace.
I agree with Art. I would be more comfortable continuing this or approving the original plan that we had agreed on before with the single house, and either or and not something in between.
Okay. Mark.
As I understand it, they have an order of conditions right now and are seeking to amend that order and only in terms of the construction sequence, I would think that they would be able to apply for a new order or sequence, but they're doing so under the original order of conditions. So at that point, I'm not sure if you can go to another order of conditions. If that makes any sense.
It's a little tricky. Eric, any thoughts?
I agree with what Art said, that maybe we could continue it so we could get a little bit more information on what's going to look like.
Okay, approaching it. Steve, did you find that that construction sequence that they had submitted?
In trouble with the, because it's got to go online. It's online.
Okay.
It's the last plan we sent. It has the old plan, it has the new plan, and it has the updated construction sequence. You can see exactly where the existing houses would go if we were to start the work tomorrow, or you can see kind of what we would like to see done by trying with a single lot first. If that doesn't work, we would kind of clear a bit more area to be able to then put the two houses up.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's a way that you can achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Well,
And just vote for a modification of the existing orders construction sequence.
well, I think the critical path is the crossing, which they should do now or sometime in the summertime when it's dry. So, you know, both plans, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but the plans don't change until after the crossing. So is there a reason why you don't want to do the crossing now? Because that would be done no matter what, on the two driveways or one driveway. And then at least you have the crossing in.
And
then,
actually, isn't the crossing under a separate DEP number?
Yes, it is. I
So
believe
I
it
don't
is.
know why we're talking, we should really be talking about that separate DEP number if you're altering the construction sequence of that number versus we don't even need to be talking about the two other numbers which had the two houses on it versus the one house, which is another number right now.
It's because under the orders, it has us going up to the lot to retrieve the materials, to bring the materials down to create the driveway. So under the old sequence, it only allows us to clear a piece of the lot to the left. We're looking to go up to the right and clear where the house, single family house would go, use that material for the crossing.
Okay.
The stone.
And that's
So
still
that's what we're
100 foot
correct.
where you're looking to clear. Okay. So that DEP number plus the crossing DEP number.
It's in both. It's actually on all three lots the way it enters.
Okay.
3 DEP numbers.
Okay. So with your active DEP numbers right now, you cannot achieve what you're trying to do.
We can. It's just in a different. We only clear half the lot instead of clearing the whole lot. You know, we'd have to go at it from a different angle. So it's just path of least resistance would certainly be allowing us to try to sell a single family lot, clear half the amount of land in the place we needed to, versus clearing all the land and building the culvert and then building the two houses.
Yeah, I don't know. The board seeming to, I mean, we need to definitely know what we're doing. Sounds like you could ask for a minor modification, maybe. Steve, what do you think?
I think it should, you know, they should come back on the 10th with a revised game plan, exactly what they plan on doing, and be very specific on it.
So this is the sequence that we're proposing. We can definitely come back the next meeting, but this is the sequence that we presented last meeting and that was approved by the commission to start. And so we're kind of updating you that we're going to continue with this if you agree to it.
Hold on a second. Okay, that's what I thought. We don't have any notes, Steve, on this, on our Google Drive. Oh.
Oh,
We're meeting minutes too.
I thought they were asking for continuance, so I wasn't really prepared to.
Okay, so are you good to continue to August 10th, applicant?
We'd rather do that than have you deny us. Yes.
Well, we wouldn't deny you, just get the one lot. Okay, so yeah, I vaguely remember the board as modifying the sequence. That was okay. Steve, can you touch base with them?
Sure.
Just for clarifications, and we'll continue this amended NOI. Board, any other questions?
Yeah, I might suggest that in looking at this construction sequence plans, it doesn't note that there's 3 different DEP numbers and which of these steps are with which DEP number. And it might be helpful to have that included.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree with that comment.
Board, anyone else? No. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns in regards to this hearing? I always get stuck in Steve's screen shares. Okay, there you go. All right, board, I'll entertain a motion, 7 p.m. on August 10th.
So moved.
And
Second.
second by Mark. Okay, all those in favor, roll call, please.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you on the 10th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Steve, if you could communicate with them so that we know what we need to do for the next meeting, that would be wonderful. Okay. Moving right along. Next item on the agenda, 7 p.m. Notice of intent, public hearing continued, 45 Oak Street. 45 Oak Street?
Yes,
I see Jeffrey.
yes,
Okay. Would you like to give us an update?
sure. Jeff Murphy here on behalf of the applicant BWC White Reservoir LLC, just to provide an update to the commission since the last time we met on June 15th, 2020. So on that date, we received the stormwater peer review letter from PAR Corporation. Since that time, Beals and Thomas has addressed the comments through plan revisions, revised stormwater calculations and report, and provided that back to PAR for their subsequent review. And on June 29th, PAR Corporation issued a second follow-up letter saying that all the technical stormwater comments have been addressed. So we basically consider that, aspect of things resolved. I had spoken with Bill Cundiff this morning, and he seemed to indicate that he had no further comments on stormwater. Obviously, planning board will discuss that on Wednesday, but I don't know if the commission has any specific questions with relation to the stormwater. I can kind of run through the changes really quick that we made on the plans, if that's helpful.
I would just stick with our jurisdictional items
Sure. So
for their changes.
no changes with respect to the stormwater features within Concom jurisdiction. The changes we did make to the basins were we actually added sediment forebays upstream of the basins, which again, those are all outside the buffer zone, but we added larger sediment forebays for increased pre-treatment of stormwater, as well as permanent sedimentation basins that are going to add additional pre-treatment as well during the construction period, and they're going to remain in place in the permanent condition. So we've definitely enhanced the stormwater design there, and we've proposed basically a 12-inch layer of gravel in the basin bottom footprints now to facilitate better dewatering and infiltration of the basins within the 72-hour period that's required under the stormwater handbook. And I think one of the things we talked about at the last meeting was the change in the fencing, how we were going from the chain link to the cedar post and wire fence, and we were talking about the wildlife gap under the fence. So we did some looking into that, and we decided that, you know, because of this dual use for agriculture as well as the solar facility, we're now revising the fence location. We pulled the fence entirely out of the buffer zone, and we've moved it up to right around the ring access road for the site. So it's no longer in the buffer zone. So that way it's kind of going to stay how we originally proposed it, which was just the wire kind of down towards the ground level for the agricultural use.
Yeah, so as far as the creature crossings, you were going to send in something supporting your position about the fencing.
Yeah, so, well, we basically moved the fence outside of all the buffer zones. So it's now entirely located in upland areas.
Okay,
Dictate
so
your fence
they're
out of our
free to,
jurisdiction.
but the creature movement's free to move through the wetland
Through
area.
the wetland and the buffer zone areas. And I think Steve might have the,
Okay,
let's see,
I was just looking for them.
well, this might be an older plan set, Steve. I'm seeing 131 on the top of the date there.
Right.
The latest plans we set were dated June 24th.
Okay.
But
I'm not sure if I received those or downloaded those.
Yeah, I sent you a link this
Oh,
afternoon.
the link. Yeah, I've been having trouble with the email. I know it, so see if I can download them.
Yep. So I think in general the fence is now around the access road, about 5 feet off the edge of the access road. And another thing that we addressed through this round of plan revisions was it was something that we previously asked for, but we kind of enhanced the construction sequencing notes as well. So those are on the sheet C301, which is a site prep erosion control plan. We outlined all the construction sequencing in terms of the order that the basins, you know, should be constructed in, and, you know, work starting from Oak Street, kind of working into the site. And then I sent those to you, Steve, separately as a separate PDF document as you had requested.
Yeah, we have that from June 26th.
Pass that on to everybody. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it right here.
Yep.
Okay, was that all the items that we had discussed from last meeting?
I believe so, and there's some other things that, again, this is outside of your jurisdiction, and it relates to the agricultural dual use. But there was a certain portion of the site, kind of in the northwestern corner of the array, where we took away some of the proposed panels to add basically a structure for animals and a gravel kind of heavy use enclosure area that's going to basically be for that, you know, dual use component.
What page are you on?
Of the plans,
Yeah,
you can probably see it on if you go to either the layout and materials plan, which is
I don't see it on that one.
C401, or if you go to the grading plan.
I see something 402.
Yeah, C402 has it shown.
Okay.
You see that area that says heavy use animal area, 10,000 square feet. So it's basically just
Yes.
an area that's going to be enclosed there, and then with a 3-sided kind of shelter structure there.
Okay. All right. Steve, did you have any comments?
The only comment I had is that we did hire a peer review, and Andy's been corresponding with the town engineer, so back and forth. They're the registered professional engineers, reviewing the projects.
Mhm.
So I know they have, they're still going forward with site plan reviews. So typically site plan review goes before conservation's approval. So I'm not sure if there's going to be any changes or any comments from the town engineer and the planning board regarding the project, since there's more of a majority of the project in their jurisdiction.
Mhm. Regulations don't have any rules in regards to that though, as far as our local regs or anything.
Well, you typically, I think in the bylaw, it does say that in concurrent, or you typically, I'd have to specifically look at it, but usually it's good practice for the Conservation Commission to go after the other boards have gotten their approval, so that all the plans are the same.
Okay.
They have no changes. If the commission's ready to approve it, then, you know, you're gonna have to type up the order of conditions, you know, anyways and approve it, so it's not like they lose any time.
Mm-hmm.
It would just make sure that if there happens to be any changes on the plan from planning board, that everyone's working off the same plan date.
Yeah, I mean, the revised plan with the date, even if it's 7/15 versus the 6/24, we just fill that in
Or any other
before
changes, or any other changes that might occur. I'm not sure. I haven't had any input from the planning board or the town engineer regarding what changes they might have in the
Okay.
site plan review.
Okay. All right. Board, do we have any questions or comments in regards to the shelter, the critter crossing, the fencing type? We really can't comment too much unless there's a, you know, a corridor, a connection. But Art, anything?
My only comment, this is kind of like the Wallum Lake Road project where it's just bad timing with the planning board still a couple days away. And I kind of think we should let them do their thing before we decide where we're going. So we see any comments that have been added or any modifications. So this is kind of like what we said, we table for now and see at the end of the meeting where we're at with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would anticipate that we would continue this to the 20th so the applicant can wrap things up.
If we do the 20th.
If, well, yeah, it's on the agenda as of right now. Katie Grace? You're on mute?
I would agree. Yeah, no, thank you. I would agree that we have to continue this because of the weird timing with the planning board. But I have no comments. I appreciate the, understanding about the critter fence and, the relocation out of our jurisdiction. So,
Okay.
other than that, yeah, no, I appreciate that. I acknowledge that that's the plan and that works.
Okay. Eric?
I have no comments.
Okay. Mark?
I agree with Art, but I do have one question of the applicant, and that would be, are the infiltration detention basins still being proposed above grade?
Yes, they are still being proposed above grade. The actual geometry elevations of the basins are the same as we've had all along. It's just we've added this additional gravel layer on the bottom of the basins, which again is just going to help with the dewatering of the basins. The 4 of the 5 basins do have a wick drain in them, which they can, if they have to, open the valve on that. There's going to be a pipe that'll have a valve on it, and they can control the water levels if necessary in the basins. But the intent is to have those closed all the time unless necessary for maintenance.
And are all the basins being built the same way?
Yes, they're all being built the same way. The ones that are kind of more on the side of the hill are a bit more of an earth import there versus the one down below. But yes, they'll all be built in a similar manner.
Thank you.
Mark, did you get a chance to review the 6/24 plan set?
No.
Did you find that in your email? Did you want to take a look at that, or?
I will try, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to just resend it to you right now?
I probably have it.
Hey, unmute. I think.
Okay. I will open it up for public comment. Mark, while you're taking a look, I did forward that to you. So you have a little, I'll wait for you. Okay, public hearing. And would anyone like to speak on behalf of this? From the public? Lori? Shirley?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Name and address, please.
Shirley Mazinski, 60 Oak Street in Douglas. And I just have, for clarification, I believe I heard the words pre-treat the basins. I just would like to know and have an explanation of what pre-treat.
Jeff?
Sure. So basically the pre-treatment of the stormwater is just to basically allow for any, sediment that may get churned up as the water's flowing over the land, particularly during construction, where you tend to have more turbid runoff coming off of the exposed soils when they're working on, building the array. So now each basin has its own swale and sedimentation basin before the water actually will enter the infiltration basin. So they're going to build the sedimentation basins first and the swales that go to them. And that's going to be its own little kind of settling pool. And then from there, it'll go into the basin. And we also added these sediment forebays in the basins themselves, which are basically like a little riprap berm of stone, which is basically going to just give the water some additional filtration before it goes into the basin, and then kind of can spread out and infiltrate. So that's what the pre-treatment of the stormwater means, just to kind of improve the quality of the stormwater before it gets into the basin, because we want to keep it as clean as possible before it gets into that infiltration area.
And that's kind of a standardized best management practice, right? Requirement.
Correct. And we enhanced that as part of the peer review stormwater process. We made all those areas much bigger and added one to basin 4, which is the middle one on the east side. That there wasn't one previously, but we did add another sedimentation basin there as well. So each basin has its own now.
Shirley, does that answer your question? You're on mute again. Do you have any other questions? You're on mute again. There you go.
No, thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Nobody? Okay. All right. So board, this project's been here hanging around a while. The applicant did say that our town engineer had no further comments, right? So you're anticipating approval on this Wednesday, correct? Jeff?
That's my presumption. He
Okay.
certainly didn't indicate that he had any further concerns with the stormwater review itself. I certainly can't speak for him or the board, but that seems to be the way things are trending right now. Is just that we're just moving forward to the close here. But I guess it's up to you and the commission whether you feel comfortable actually closing it tonight until that planning board, actually.
Yeah, no, I think we're all leaning to not close it. But we did add an additional meeting because we pushed out our August meeting a week. So to kind of assist with moving things along.
Right.
The board, we do have the July 20th, which is next Monday, available and posted to continue this meeting too.
Do we have to close the public hearing part? No.
No, I would suggest continuing the entire thing, not voting at all.
Could we table it for now till we decide for sure what date we're going to do at the end, like we did with the Wallum Lake Road project?
Steve?
That's getting tricky.
I would, well, Wallum Lake Road, we don't know we cannot continue because we don't have a quorum of voting members. So that's why we had to table that to wait for Mike. Because I'm abstaining and Mark is abstaining. So there's only 3 and we don't have a quorum to move the motion. The motion would fail. That's why we're waiting for Mike.
Okay, so have we definitely agreed to a meeting on July 20th then?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No,
So
we didn't, because we didn't
How
have a
can we
quorum
make a
for that.
motion to continue this to the 20th if we haven't agreed to a meeting on the 20th?
Okay, so let's have that discussion right now then. So we're trying to wrap up a few of these the long-standing issues to try to get our meeting shorter. And we had one meeting, and then the next meeting's not for a month and a week, 5 weeks, 6 weeks away.
So I'm in favor of having the meeting next week to take care of some of these items that we know can be moved.
Right, and we're not adding additional items. We're not adding anybody else.
Same number of items, it's an additional meeting to deal with the existing items that we know need to get moved off the agenda.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
I want Mark to understand before we start making motions.
Mark, did you hear, you're muted, but did you hear what we were discussing?
I did hear, yes,
Okay.
and I'm fine with that.
Okay, great. Then I will make a motion to have a meeting on July 20th. And can I just make the motion to have the meeting and then we can continue it, or do we want to do it in one motion?
No, we'll just make the motion to put that meeting on our schedule.
Then I'm making the motion to have the June 20th, 7 p.m. Conservation Commission meeting put on our schedule.
Okay, motion's been made.
July 20th.
Did you say June?
Yeah.
I said July.
July 20th, yeah. Mine amendment to your motion. Okay,
Oh.
July 20th. And motion's been made,
I'll second it.
seconded by Art. Roll call vote, please.
Art Monmouth, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Thank you. Okay, now 45 Oak Street. Make a
Do you want to
motion
make the motion?
for continuance.
Yeah, I move that we continue the 45 Oak Street public hearing to, we continue it on July 20th, 2020 at 7 p.m.
Motion been made,
And I will second that.
seconded. Roll call vote.
Art Monmouth, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, thank you very much, board. Okay, thank you.
Thank you
We'll
very
come
much.
Monday. Okay, next item on the agenda is the public hearing continued Southwest Main Street, lot number 1. George Hendricks. Jude, are you available?
I'm here. I woke up.
We did this site walk also. Steve, do you want to start or do you want Jude to?
You can start and I'll try to get the, he sent some updated plans. Let's see if I can get them up.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the site walk and I believe everything went well. Everyone understood the scope of the project. On lot 1 in particular, I did update the wetland flag that we had moved. Katie Grace and I had decided to move one of the flags in between 23 and 24. So that's reflected as 23A on the plan. And so the buffer zones are all updated accordingly. We were far enough away from the driveway that we did not have to move it. I moved the hay bale line closer to the driveway and the edge of disturbance. Before I had, 10 feet or so of room, and I moved it into around 5 feet just to stay further away from that wetland, the new wetland line. The other 2 major changes is the access over to the wells. I shortened them up. They were 25 feet or so, and Steve and I discussed that that was fairly wide for a well truck to get through there. The well trucks are around 8 feet or so. So I shortened up the hay bale line to a 12-foot wide swath and to get to the well. And once the well is installed, there's a note that hatching indicates that shall all the materials that are used to stabilize to get the well truck over to the well, if necessary, shall be removed afterwards, and that area shall be left to naturalize itself. The other thing is that the deck was off the back of the house and it was within the 50-foot setback structure. So I moved it to the side of the house. So it is outside of the 50-foot buffer zone.
Is the plan on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm
Yep.
streaming from Google
Yeah,
Drive.
just one comment about that. So you will have a well line dug anyway, but that's a temporary disturbance. You're saying you're gonna allow that to revegetate.
Absolutely, yes. The concern that we had was that, once that was disturbed, whether someone was going to throw loam and seed down and then it was going to become this grass strip for whatever reason. So we just added a note and hatching and stuff to clarify that shall go back to, the existing conditions.
Once the well line is dug.
Correct. And we added some additional erosion controls around the front of the site so that to prevent some of the sediment during construction to run off to the front.
Mhm.
And we added a stockpile area between the driveway and the septic, just an area so when they dig the foundation, they know they have a spot to put it and they're not just putting it in the back behind the house or stuff like that. And that's about it on that one.
Okay. Board. Steve first. Any other comments?
I don't think so. I think he's kind of done a nice job, addressed all my concerns, and I think the commission's concerns based on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Okay. Katie Grace. You're on mute.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I mean, I still don't love it, but he's incorporated all of our comments, and the plan looks reasonable.
Okay. Art.
I appreciate him adding the flag in there. That was the only thing that I had.
Okay. Eric.
I wasn't able to attend the site walk, but it all sounds good to me, the changes they made.
Okay. Mark.
How close is the driveway wall to the new flag?
Uh, 13 to 14 feet. The erosion, I held the erosion control 10 feet away. So the driveway and the wall are on the other side, are on the uphill side of that.
Steve, do you have some photos of that area?
Ooh.
I mean, it's peak.
Dude, how high is that wall?
No.
In that area, it's around 5 feet. Towards, if you're looking at the plan right now, if you go to the left or the northwest, it gets to about 6 feet or so.
Okay.
But that's the highest point.
And what type of wall is that?
We're planning on just like a rockery wall, boulders.
And will there be like a silt fence on the back side of that to keep sediments from working through the wall?
Well, if we had, no, it's gonna be designed and installed so that there isn't any of that sediment going through the wall. There's gonna be a layer of stone behind it. If we had sediment coming through the wall, we'd have issues.
Right. So is there a detail for the wall on the plan?
No, because it's 6 feet tall. We specify that it be designed by others. So it's just a general detail. It's more of a structural engineer, just to make sure that the boulders are large enough to hold up that amount of soil.
Right.
I could certainly send you the detail before construction begins so that you are comfortable with the detail itself, or we could have that discussion with Steve.
Well,
as of
yes,
right.
Steve's gonna have to sign off on the building permit.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like that to be a condition of the
That's
approval
reasonable.
if it's approved.
Yep,
I
yeah.
agree. That's fine.
that's the way to do it anyway. Okay, Mark, anything else on this one?
No.
All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments in regards to this one? Okay. Board, what's your pleasure?
I move to close the public hearing.
Okay, motion's been made.
I'll second it.
Motion's been seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Art Monmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay. Entertain a motion to issue.
I'll make a motion to issue the order of conditions with the added condition that Mark Mungem mentioned, that the builder of wall design be consulted with Steve and Mark prior to construction of that portion of the wall.
Of the actual wall.
The wall
Oh,
next
okay.
to the driveway.
Yes, yeah. Yep. Okay. All right.
Actual wall, not the.
Mark, is that good? Is that clear enough?
Yes, I think that's clear enough.
Okay. All right. Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Roll call.
Art Monmany, aye.
KJ Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along to Southwest Main Street. And this number, so lot number 2 was which address, Jude?
Oh, geez, you got
335, right? So the last hearing was 349.
349, yes.
So just for the record, lot 1 is 349 Southwest Main Street. Okay. And next item is lot number 2, which is 335 Southwest Main Street. So why don't you, Jude, go over any changes that you made? And
Okay.
if Steve wants to pull up the plan, that'd be great.
Is it up?
He's already got it up. Good
Oh,
job.
I'm not there. Sorry. Okay. All right.
So, Jude Govin, Andrews, surveying and engineering. This one we did some of the similar changes. We added some erosion control around the front with a stockpile in the front near the septic system. We lessened the width of the well going out to the well location. We added a slurry pit with erosion control around that. Same type of hatching and same type of note on this plan, that the area will go back to natural conditions once the well and the well line is installed. There was some talk about the driveway and the retaining wall on the site walk, and it was asked if that needed to be grassed after construction was done, and the answer is no, it does not. So I added a note to that also, that once the driveway is installed to the left-hand side of the driveway, and once it's done getting the slope treatment, then that part of the driveway will be allowed to go back to natural conditions. I did eliminate quite a bit of retaining wall. It was more of a low-lying retaining wall from the street out to the driveway. So there's a small little L section at the end of the driveway that is retaining wall now, and that's 4 feet exactly. So that does not need a structural engineer, but again, wanting some sort of a detail showing what type of materials and how it's going to be built, we can use the same detail as lot 1. because lot one will get actually designed by the structural engineer because it's 6 feet. This one's 4 feet, so it doesn't technically need to be designed, but the concern is erosion. So we could just piggyback onto that one and use the same type of detail. And yeah, there was just some clarifications that Steve had asked for, and I went through the list and, you know, went item by item and addressed everything, I believe, unless Steve has something else. I think this
No,
was-
not really. I think the main part was trying to shore up that left side of the driveway and then lessen the amount of impact to putting the wells in.
Right. That's how I understood it also.
All right, board. Art, do you have any questions or
No.
comments?
No, I don't.
Okay, Mark, do you have any questions or comments?
I thought on the preliminary plan that there was a section of wall or foundation at the back of the house that was within the 50-foot buffer. Has that been pulled back?
Was that the
No,
other
there isn't.
lot with the deck?
It was in the floodplain, not the buffer.
Oh, not the 50-foot buffer or the floodplain? Okay.
Floodplain, yeah.
Jude,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Has it been revised?
It hasn't been revised. It's the same as before, whereas that's an open area underneath. So the only part that's within the floodplain is there's a little tiny section of retaining or wall that's holding up the first floor elevation. But right where the deck and the foundation meet in the back, we're sculpting out a little tiny area there to compensate for the minor part of it's a 12-inch retaining wall by a couple of feet.
So you're proposing compensatory storage on this?
Yes.
And did you revise the NOI to reflect that? 'Cause we're gonna have to write that on our order.
I did not update the paperwork, no.
Steve, could you just make a note of that, please?
Yeah, if you can just send me that, maybe put it on the, yeah, if you can send me the calcs on that, we can put it in the order.
Yeah, it's easy. It's really short calc, but yeah, I can do that. Sure.
Doesn't matter, you know that.
Yep.
Okay, good call, Mark. Because I can hardly see the plan. I see where the floodplain boundary is.
It's a very interesting foundation.
Okay, all right, okay. Hey, you can do what you gotta do. Katie Grace?
Yeah, what marks the edge of the driveway on the left? So I see that there's the driveway there, and then there's a slope on the left, which we agreed is not going to be grass. It's going to grow back into natural, you know, whatever would grow back there. But what delineates? Because you notice that's, you know, already the parking area in the driveway is within the 50. You know, I really don't want anyone parking any closer than the driveway itself. So I don't know how
It's a 2
sweet.
to 1.
And it looks like there's geomat proposed. Steve, could you zoom in a little bit to that specific area?
Yeah, that's about as,
Oh, really?
yeah, let me, if I can I could try to download it.
No, that's okay, that's okay.
Because it's from the Google Drive.
Is it on your Google Drive?
I'm streaming it right now on the Google Drive.
Oh, okay, all right.
I can read it. It says all slopes greater than 3 to 1 shall be protected by environmental matting.
Correct. In that area from the edge of the driveway down to back to existing grade is 2 to 1.
Yes.
It's pretty steep. So if someone tries to park there, they're gonna
Okay.
they're gonna get
Nope.
stuck. I mean, we could put
That's
a
good. So
row-
then, and then, no, I feel like the ropes look silly. No, as long as it's clear, because I mean that's a paved driveway. That's a concrete driveway, so it's going to be obvious. The edge of the concrete, the edge of the driveway. So
Yeah.
Is that coming up better?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh yeah.
that is a lot better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Katie Grace, does that answer your question
It does.
or your concern? Okay. Eric, any questions on this?
This sounds good. I just wanted to follow up. Last time I commented, there were some trees that were supposedly taken down near a wetland. Did anything ever happen with that? Or
For this specific hearing?
yeah, last time it was on one of these properties. I think.
Oh, the Woodland clearing.
Yeah, I don't think we looked into that when we were on our sidewalk.
I've been out there a few times. I'm sure there have been cut because the owner of the property said they were cut, but I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the area either. But from what Aaron had said before, that he thought that he was allowed to take down up to a certain amount of trees within the wetland for his own personal use for his wood burning stove. And I think that's where we left it. And I personally don't know that rule, but.
And they were not in the wetland, they were out, they were in the buffer, right?
Correct.
Do we know whereabouts they were?
Like I said, I haven't
No.
seen any evidence of cutting, so it must have been away from the project sites.
If I can announce myself, do you hear me?
Sure, name and address,
This
please.
is Aaron Sokrat from 49 Lindbergh Ave. So my son Nick and I, we took down approximately 6 oak trees over the entire, like, 2 lots. So we didn't have to carry anything out too heavy or too far away to the street. And that was it. I mean, it's just sporadic. There were a few trees it was going to be. And so we were told, try to, you know, I wouldn't say told, but the thought was that try to take them where they are, where the houses are going to be built on the footprints, so that we're not taking anything outside of that. So we were pretty careful about it. And we didn't want to go too far from the street anyway. So we were very close, probably that 20, 30, 40 foot range from the street. And not, it's only in the buffer, it wasn't in the wetlands. So it's about 6 trees, 7 trees maybe. That's it.
Art, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mark? You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Nothing except that we need to condition this one the same as we did the lot 1 plan for the wall.
Okay. Okay, anyone from the audience have any questions or concerns in this hearing? Okay.
I have one more.
Motion. What?
Oh, no, I was just going to say one more thing.
Yes.
Can we put it out there as a board, and I want to make sure that I'm not the only one who thinks this, that for future reference for property owners, that just because a house may be there in the future, if it's not an approved plan, you can't remove trees and the wetland bordering vegetation without coming before the board.
Okay.
So I'm just making that statement, even if it's for to propose project, if there's no approved plan, and move trees without coming before the Conservation Commission, or at least calling Steve.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this order of conditions with the added condition for Mark that, you know.
We're gonna close the public hearing first.
Oh, close the public hearing.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Art Montminy, aye.
A.G. Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Manjamai.
Okay. All right, and now you can do your other motion.
Make-
Oh, yeah, never mind. Go ahead. I
Okay.
was gonna say all those in favor. Okay, go for it.
Make a motion to issue this order of conditions, the added condition that during the construction, particularly of the driveway or any retaining walls, they consult with Steve on the design once that design is finalized for those walls.
And calcs on the compensatory storage.
Yes. Thank you, Steve. The compensatory storage calculations.
Okay, sorry. Those as well.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor on a roll call vote, please.
Art Monmany, aye.
A.G. Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem abstain.
I'll do Tracy Sharkey, aye. So the motion passes. Okay, next item on the agenda. Who needs to be muted? Next item on the agenda, if I could pass it to Katie Grace to run, and I'm gonna recuse myself.
Understood, Tracy,
You okay?
certainly.
Okay, all right, thanks, I'll be back.
Certainly. All right, so the next item is 93 Davis Street. I'm surprised I haven't memorized it by now. So I understand that we've been over this plan and we understand anything. I'm still gonna have this public hearing be open and take comments, but we are waiting for stormwater review from the planning board, which is gonna happen on the 15th. Yep, so while we've got it open, go ahead. Yes, anything else you wanted to say?
No, we addressed the comments from Leonard's last list of things that needed to be added to the plan or addressed. Leonard has sent over his comments today, this afternoon. I sent them over to Steve. He's got a copy of them. I sent him over the revised set of plans that addresses all these comments, which is stormwater drainage comments, most of them. We are on for the July 15th meeting. Those comments do address the oil grease separator. Lennar agrees with that the stormwater management system meets the standards. And he agrees that the calculations for the stormwater report for the pipe outlet detail and the flow out of that pipe in the back of the site.
Okay.
Does the commission have any questions?
Yeah, board, do we have any other?
I have a question. The Leonard Engineering requested some changes to the end of the outfall pipe. Were those changes made to the plan?
To the detail, yes. They were made to the detail on the plan.
Have we received those?
On the plans, yes.
You know what plan that is? Want me to bring it up?
I haven't seen it, Steve, so I don't know where it is.
Well, they just came today. All this stuff just came in today. Karen, are those part of the plans that you sent to me?
Today, yep.
You know which one that would be?
On the details, one of the detail sheets.
Oh, one of the detail sheets. Is it the detail sheet that has all the, oh, it's on the detail sheet itself. It's not part of the plan itself?
I think it's on the detail sheet.
Yeah, Paul Hutnick here as well. So yeah, it's on, and I'm looking right now to see what sheet it's on. On sheet C 5.1 of the revised plans are revised through 6/26/20.
All right, so do you know what she sent? A bunch of 13 different PDFs. You know which one it is?
Good. You want me to share my screen, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you share? That'd be great. Let me give you permission if I can.
Okay. Yep.
Bando de petistas, esquerdistas, vocês não valem nada, vocês são os petista.
E aí, mano? Sabe onde eu tô? Eu tô em Paris, mano. Tô em Paris, mano. Mentira não, mano.
Just press Alt F4 to remove the hackers. I think they are hackers.
Am I correct that there's just a whole third-party conversation happening in this meeting that we're trying to get rid of?
Yeah, I was just muting and getting rid of a bunch of people.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Steve.
So hang on one second.
I was trying to discern if it was the general public and if I'd asked them to speak later, but I think that's a whole third-party discussion.
Is Pat, is there any way you can give Pat, you can give Paul Hutnick screen sharing abilities?
All right, looks like I can now.
Okay, you're all set.
All right, do you see my screen right now with the detail sheet on it?
Yep.
Okay, so essentially to address the comment, there was two details that were added and or provided more detail to them. So essentially, this detail number 7, added the dimensions of the riprap and showing that it has a 6-inch minimum depth in the middle. So essentially when it comes out of the pipe, and in this case, the wall would be right here, it goes into an area that creates a little bit of a bowl and a level spreader. And then it spills over essentially over this edge here as a level spreader. And I will also show you these are not. So also right here on C5.4, there was asked for a detail of the pipe coming through the wall. So this is a typical detail. This wall will need to be designed by a structural engineer, and you know, it'll all be, that will be done. But essentially, this is a typical detail of how the pipe would come through the wall. And then so in this case, you're looking at the end of the pipe. So the riprap would be in this area here. And if we go to the plan view, that's where you would see it in the plan view. So essentially, the response to the comment was that, similar to what I spoke of last time, there's only flow, it's 0.74 CFS flow in a 100-year storm at 2.14, I believe, feet per second. There's no flow in any smaller storms. So essentially, it's an overflow pipe, and the regulations, the Mass DEP erosion control document essentially wants you to design to a 10-year storm. In this case, we have 0 CFS in a 10-year storm. So we've really just added this as a extra precaution, and that was all those details. And obviously the comment response that we provided was reviewed and acknowledged by LEI in their comment letter. So they agreed with it.
Okay, so we're still waiting on the planning board and the town engineer to review though?
So we have the comment letter on these revised plans.
Right.
And there's really, at this point, very minor things to, certainly that, I think this was probably the one that was most related to Concom in terms of you guys. But so, yes, on Wednesday night, you know, we would anticipate closing on Wednesday night. There's very few comments left. But that's, yes, that still needs to happen.
Yeah, so that's where I've opened this up for them to present, and I'm you know, any other comments that we had should be buttoned up by now. They're just kind of, we're making sure that all of our comments are resolved, so we're all set after the next meeting. My intent is to continue this unless the board feels that we can do anything else. But I mean, this is a good time to make sure all of our questions have been resolved and get anything else in that we notice.
Agreed.
Yeah, for my part, as long as everything goes smoothly on Wednesday for these guys, we're probably all okay for the 20th.
All right, Mark, how do you feel about the comment with the outlet pipe?
I'm fine with that. I mean, Leonard Engineering did their review. They said it was fine, so I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right, is there anything else from the board? All right, technically this public hearing is still open. Is there any other comments from the general public today? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to continue this to the July 20th.
Yeah, I'll move that we continue this to the 93 Davis Street project to the July 20th at 7 p.m.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made. Mark has seconded. Thank you, Mark. And we'll take a roll call vote.
Art Montminy, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Excellent. All right, continued. Thank you very much
You
for
have
coming
to
back
vote?
again. Do I have to vote? We have three.
We only had 3.
Well, it's always good to have everyone vote.
Okay, yes, KG Dudley, I am more than happy that this is continued to the 20th.
All right, thanks very much. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you again for coming back, and we'll see you again.
Thank you very much. I'll see you on the 20th.
All right, can we let Tracy come back, or is she excused from the next one too?
I don't know anything. This is a new one, I think, isn't it?
Oh, new one.
The next two are new.
Yeah.
Actually, the next two, we can probably, I don't think Margaret is here.
I'm back.
Hey, Tracy.
Margaret asked to put these off as long as possible.
Asked to what?
Margaret Bacon asked to put these off as long as possible.
Oh, really?
She might be a little late. She might be late to the meeting, but I see she's in the house.
I'm good.
Okay, let me see if the advertisement is in the file. Lot 1, right? And it's not. Okay. Hold on one moment. And for the record, I'm back. Tracy Sharkey.
Noted.
What?
Tracy Sharkey.
Okay. All right, you ready, board? Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Stephen BANGMA on July 13th, 2020, 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant of the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work location will be done on 264 U Street, Lot 1, and involves proposed construction of a single-family house septic system and appurtenances. Proposed construction activities are within the 100-foot buffer zone and bordering vegetated wetlands. Okay. And Margaret, you have the floor.
Okay, good evening. Yeah, basically.
Address?
Can you hear me?
Address for the record, sorry.
Okay, for the record, Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering. And I'm here representing my client and requesting a permit to construct a single-family house and septic system. And I know Steve had some comments, and I did address them, but I didn't get them back to him till late this afternoon with a revised plan. So there is a revised plan coming that includes some of Steve's comments, but basically it's a existing 4-bedroom house with a septic system well. Per Steve's comments, I added, you know, the width of the driveway. The erosion control has been adjusted to include the well. I got the well on the wrong side of the erosion control. Put the limits of lawn, proposed deck. I don't have the deck dimensions on that plan. And I also included buffer zone impacts on the revised plan. So pretty straightforward, but I do have a revised plan that Steve probably didn't have a chance to even look at yet, which is my fault.
Okay. Steve, is that accurate?
That's about accurate, yes, on this one. This is the one closer to the road.
Okay. All right, so we're just about at the 75 with the entire house, and we can't move it forward?
Not really, because I've got the septic system up in front of me, and I got to stay 20 feet away from that. Or I like to stay about at least 22 feet away from the septic.
Okay. Thought that said front zoning offset 150 feet, but it's a parentheses.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Board, at first glance, do we have any questions on this?
It was sort of cutting out a smaller lot out of a larger existing lot.
That's correct. It's a big, the entire parcel is 16 acres, and this lot is proposed, and we're not actually gonna do the A&R until after we get through the permitting process. Make sure we don't have to do any changes. So this lot 1 here has not been formally subdivided at this point, but it will be.
Okay.
It will be before we close on the hearing? How's that gonna work with the deed reference and such, and plan reference?
I guess once we're pretty have assurances that there's not gonna be any changes, major changes that would impact this, then we could go ahead with the A&R and then just hold off on closing this lot until after the A&R has been recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer that just for housekeeping measures.
Okay.
Did you have any specific concerns on why you would think that you would want to revise anything?
Not really. A lot of times that's the way we used to always do it. A lot of times lots until everything was formally approved.
Okay. Steve, are you thinking the same way?
Well, yeah, I agree. I can understand Margaret's point that she doesn't want to create a lot and then have to create some lot lines. But at the same point, you're absolutely right, Tracy. These lots need to be created with 2 separate deeds that run with that in particular lot. Because what will happen is you run into subdivisions is that someone who closes, I don't know if you can see the screen on the left where it shows the 20 to 20 scale, the entire parcel.
Yeah.
What will end up happening if you prove this and they recorded it and then divided the lots after, that the people on the other lot, they'll be stuck on title searches from this point forward on the smaller lot because it's all created under one master lot. So you want to create the 2 lots first, create 2 separate book and page numbers, and then put those on the order of conditions.
Okay. All right. Art, any questions or comments?
No, Actually, this is the first I've seen of this one. so.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to see the revised plan, I think, with all of Steve's comments made on it. Katie Grace?
I mean, I'm frustrated with how close it is in the buffer zone at the 75-foot. I don't know what else you can do because it doesn't seem to lit up anywhere in that space. I guess if I was going to make a comment at this point without seeing the revised plan, I'd say knock the deck off.
Okay. Eric? You're on mute.
I agree with what Katie Grace said.
Okay. Yeah, paying attention to the 50-foot front offset for the structure. Was there a specific reason why you cited the house at this location?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, well, due to the high groundwater, I have a mounded septic system in the front. And then what you always try to do is you see I have the mound 3-to-1 slopes, and I like to be able to create a swale between the front property line and the septic system, so you don't create a ponding situation. So I really can't move the septic up much closer, and the house is as close to the septic as I can get.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And Mark? Any questions at this moment?
No questions. I would have had the same comment as Katie did about the deck and whether the deck could slide to the side of the house or not.
Okay. Okay. So something to think about. It is, you're preparing to do footings, right? Sonotubes. But the concern may be the creep towards the 50-foot.
Okay.
I would think, right? Speaking for the board. But
Yes.
they're just, as far as the deck impact goes, you're looking at some footings. And it is outside. I don't know the orientation, if it can go on the side but I would say we'll look at the revised plan. Okay, and this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments on this? No. So board, looking for a motion to continue.
I'd make a motion to continue this, but I'm not sure. Do we want to move it to the July 20th, or do we want to kick it to August?
August 10th. Yeah.
August 10th?
Yeah.
We're leaving the July 20th for the real quick things.
For just the handful of items we need to get out. Yeah, no, so absolutely. I would make a motion to move. I am making a motion to move this to the August 10th. I'm doing it right now. I'm currently presently making a motion to move this to 7 p.m. on August 10th.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Art. Roll call vote, please.
Art Montmany, aye.
Katie Dudley, aye.
Okay, Mark?
Mark Manjamai.
Eric?
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Just a quick question. So at the August 10th meeting, after I make, Steve has a chance to review the revisions, then if it looks like that this is going to get permitted per the revised plan, then I'm going to go, then we'll continue it again until I get these lots subdivided, correct?
Yeah, just so that on the order of conditions, we can have the correct deed references.
Okay.
But we can be prepared and just, vote and close, and you can provide Steve with the new recorded numbers.
Okay.
All right, Steve, we can have that signed and ready to roll.
That's correct.
Okay.
And street addresses would be great.
Oh, You're gonna have a problem get those too.
Can't get a street address until I subdivide this. So.
All these problems are coming up. Okay. All right, let me, next item on the agenda, let me open the lot number 2. So the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Stephen BANGMA on July 13th, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work location will be done on 264 U Street, lot number 2, and involves proposed construction of a single-family house, septic system, and appurtenances. Proposed construction activities are within the 100-foot buffer zone and bordering vegetated wetlands. Okay, name and address.
Okay, Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering, and I'm here representing Stephen BANGMA for lot number 2 at 264 U Street. This is adjacent to lot number 1. It has a much longer driveway, and actually there's remnants of an old cart road, which this proposed driveway pretty much follows. And actually, it kind of follows the high point. It's kind of like, it follows the, I call it the sub-watershed divide. It goes right between these two wetlands that both flow in opposite directions. And the DEP did make a comment at the first wetland crossing, or not wetland crossing, the first buffer zone area. And I did have a culvert there. It's really not needed because it's kind of at the high point between those two wetlands. So I did take the culvert out. It's kind of overkill. It's not really necessary. And then it's the same with the second buffer zone area up towards the house is the same thing. It's kind of like at a watershed divide. Those two wetlands flow both in opposite directions and circle around behind the house.
Is there any evidence that it was filled previously, historically?
I don't
allow for the cart path to come through.
It's just kind of like the high point between the two, and it doesn't really look like much was any fill put there.
Okay.
Maybe some rocks, but it wasn't really obvious.
Okay. You have a proposed culvert on the first crossing, and then nothing on the second crossing. Well,
on that plan, I put it there, but I've made revisions to the plan, and I removed it. It's not really necessary. It's like I said, it's kind of at the high point. It's probably
we see the flow arrows are going in opposite directions.
Correct.
Board, would we want to do a site walk on this? Considering there is an existing cart path, we can kind of take a peek, especially because DEP has brought it to our attention.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Looks pretty straightforward. So Steve, if you can stay in the back there. Again, with the septic moving forward, it looks as though you could possibly fit the house outside of the jurisdiction. Do you have any, you have some reasoning on the siting of the septic there? Margaret?
Oh, yeah, that's why I have to have it over where the deep holes are. And then again, I have to keep the house so I can't get the house any closer to that septic than it is.
You couldn't shift that forward. You've got a lot of grading, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. No, because right now I'm about 25 feet at one side from the septic. I mean, so I got a couple of feet, but that's about it. And I did try rotating that house because he wants a walkout in the back. So you try to parallel with the grade. You don't want to buck the grade with a walkout.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and is there some proposed signage to avoid the creep on the 50 over here since your house corner is so close on the back left corner.
Signage?
Well, something so that, because that back corner is so close to the erosion, yeah, where the little hand is.
Well, it's not, I mean, it doesn't have to be signage. In fact, I recommend it not be signage. I'd rather see some kind of fencing or
Indicator.
feature.
Sorry, I'm getting a little.
Wetland indicator feature, yes.
Yes, and yeah, I would suggest something. I know it's going down the hill, but it's pretty close to the 50 there.
Okay, well, let me talk to my client, see what we can come up with.
Okay. All right. Mark, any questions or comments?
I would like to see a review of that house design to see if it could be less inside the buffer as well. That's my comment.
Okay. Maybe a different shape,
Yes.
more rectangular. Okay. Eric?
I agree, just less impact would be better.
Okay. Where's Art? Is Art still here? Oh, there. Somehow you ended up after Margaret on my
That's
top. Okay. Any comments or questions?
No, again, this is the first I'm seeing this one.
Okay. Yep. Understood. And no one in the audience has any questions. So I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing.
Yeah, I move that we continue this lot 2 of 264 U Street to August 10th at 7 p.m.
Okay, motion's been made.
Seconded.
Seconded. Roll call vote.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungimai.
Okay. Thank you. And when would you like to do the site walk? Margaret, is it pretty much all set? Is there anything staked for the house? Do you need time?
I was just going to ask you, want me to stake the center line of the driveway in the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be good.
And when she does the center line, Margaret, put a, can you spray paint or put a nice different colored ribbon right where that culvert is and where the DEP had the comment?
Yeah, you'll see it, but I'll flag that up.
Do we want to see anything on the other one? On the lot 1 lower over there?
Maybe the edge of it, like where lot 1 and 2 split on the road.
Where your proposed separation is, your proposed split.
Lot line?
Yeah, lot line. Okay, what are we looking at, Steve, for schedule? Are you looking at maybe a Saturday, right?
Saturday, it's up to you, the commission. Saturdays are good.
Ward, do you have any comment? I mean, any preference?
I have a preference for the afternoon if it's the 18th.
Art?
I'm thinking if I think the 18th is probably okay.
I mean, that being said, I have the same preference on the 25th. If either day, I'd prefer the afternoon.
Yeah, do we want to do the 25th or do you want to do it this weekend or next weekend? Maria, are you gonna be, you think you'll be ready for this weekend?
The 25th, that gives me a little.
Okay. How does the 25th work for everyone?
Actually, better than the 18th for me too, now that I think about it.
Okay, you want to do like 1 p.m. on site?
1 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you on the 25th, 1 p.m.
What's the street address? Well, okay, what's the
264 U Street.
Thank you.
Oh, Katie, you know, I'm sure you know, right across from the Douglas Conservation Land, the first one off of U Street.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right across the street in the wintertime, there's an old cemetery.
Yes.
Right there. That's where the driveway is going. It's on this plan. It's probably on that plan.
All right. Thank you.
Is there a way we could do the site walk earlier, or we have to do it at 1?
I mean, I just have a dentist at 10:15. I could do noon.
I have to work at noon.
You have to work at now.
Yeah.
You could go earlier, Eric, if you wanted, because it will be staked out.
Okay.
And Steve, if you could email all of us the revised plot plan.
Sure. Margaret, did you send me an electronic one or just the paper?
You should have everything.
Can you
What's
send me,
this afternoon?
yeah, can you send me the electronic copy so I can email the members?
Yep. And now, do you want me to meet you at the site visit, or you want to
Yes.
by yourself?
No, you can meet us.
Okay, 1 o'clock then on the 25th. Okay.
So then, Eric, if you have any comments before you go to work, you can let us know, and we'll look at it.
Okay.
Leave us messages on the trees.
Okay, no, I mean email. We can use email.
I thought you meant on site. Okay.
Great.
Okay, board, we all set?
I think so.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, next item on the agenda, moving right along. 7 p.m. RDA public meeting, 35 Wallis Street, Tony Brookhouse. Let me just read the ad. Douglas Conservation Commission notice of public meeting pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. The Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting on July 13th, 2020 at 7 p.m. for a request for determination of applicability filed by Anthony Brookhouse for reinstallation of 2 removable aluminum docks approximately 50 feet and 40 feet that previously existed, along with selective cutting, limbing of trees to gain access to water. Remove dead oak tree at culvert, remove of dead or dying hemlocks with stumps to remain, selective trimming, thinning of hemlocks that are killing birch trees. Remove hemlock saplings on left rear of yard to expose stone wall, clear overgrown dead wood and brush along shoreline previously cleared, located at 35 Wallis Street. Public participation will be via virtual means only, and then pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order superseding certain provisions of open meeting law. Public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided to the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the request for determination of applicability may be examined electronically by contacting Maria LaJoy. And Zoom meetings are live streamed here, July 1st. Okay. All right. Applicant name and address.
Anthony and Denise Brookhouse, 35 Wallis Street.
Hello. So you want to just go over your plan? Or Steve, do you want to start? Either way.
No, I'll bring the plan up. I guess was commissioned to the site walk, you know, and then I don't know if everyone can see Tony's plan. We kind of walked through the property. And I think he kind of went over in detail some of the stuff that he's proposing on doing. And so I think we can take it from there. One of the things I know he did, you know, we could probably address, I figured we just address it here. He did file for a building permit to demo the house. So he can talk about that too. So just so the commission's aware that he's doing that activity also.
Sure. I mean, I can talk about that. Any questions?
Okay, so board, do you have any comments? Everyone was there, right, on the site walk. Art, do you have any comments or concerns?
Yeah, I want to ask, what was the plan for the stumps on the trees you want to remove?
We're going to leave the stumps.
Okay, thank you.
Katie Grace?
I love this plan. No, I've got it. Thank you. I absolutely love this plan, and I love the use of hearts and triangles and dollar signs here. I'm just not 100% sure what each of them are representing.
there's a key on the bottom of the plan, right there.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Trimmed or removed. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, this is brilliant. I absolutely love this. Okay.
Do you have any questions or concerns besides the plan look? I'll come back to you. Eric, any questions? You were
No.
Okay. Mark, any questions or concerns?
Well, I have a bit of a concern about the number of trees that are being impacted. And then secondly, it shows an estimated 100-foot line, and it kind of crosses the path that goes down to the water. And if I remember rightly, there was a stream that ran right alongside that path all the way down to the water. So really the 100-foot line shouldn't cross, I don't think, because of the stream that's very close to the driveway.
Yeah, I can see your point there. Let me address the number of trees. A lot of the hemlocks and like little princess pines, they're all, 4 or 5 inches around. So that's partly why there's a lot of them. The ones on the left, I had said that there's a beautiful stone wall there that you can't see that I want to, restack up, that the pines have kind of just taken over. And then there's some beautiful birch trees, yellow and black birch and regular birch along the water that some of the pines are choking out, and the hemlocks especially. So that's why primarily the large number. It's not anything substantial.
Does that answer your question, Mark? You're on mute.
Yeah, the first part is answered, but the second part, I'm seeing a lot of hearts and triangles and dollar signs along the right side of that hatched path that goes down to the water. That's very close to the stream. It's probably within 10 feet of the stream that runs down along there.
Yeah, so you're talking about the BVW that's running along that, correct. Yes, as correct. Steve is moving there. So yes. The estimated 100 line is actually only associated with the bank of the reservoir.
Correct.
And then you've got the additional ones, the additional 100. So it seems as though the whole entire access is within the 100.
Yes.
It's just not, yes.
Yep.
So the 100 that's shown on here is not including the 100 on the other associated BVW for the project. But there is little wetland symbols.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I see those now. I hadn't even noticed that.
It's it's an additional symbol that's not in the key.
Right. Okay. But I mean, is that a concern to anyone else, or just that's concern to me?
No, that's a concern for myself as well. I really would like to see the wetland 50 and 100 marked on this plan, because as we said earlier in this meeting to another person, that if there's a tree in the wetland, we have to come before the board, and I would like to know which of these trees to be removed are within the buffer of that wetland. I had not to jump topics on anyone. Well, yes, 2 jump topics on anyone. I'm not entirely sure what a princess pine is. It
was a white pine.
Yeah.
Princess pine is a white pine. Okay, thank you.
So these notes, this note, the tree maintenance summary, is that part, did you put that on the plan?
Tony?
Yeah, yeah, we tried to name all those trees. I mean, I'm not an arborist, but we tried to do the best job we could.
No, what you typed over on the plan?
Yeah. We just
Yeah.
used edit software.
So all of the trees proposed on the plan to be taken down are within the 100 foot, are within our jurisdiction.
Correct.
There's none within the wetland. They're outside of the wetland within the buffer. Right?
I believe so, yeah.
So when we were walking on site, those trees had already previously been cleared. Steve, do you have the aerial?
The wetlands haven't been flagged, Tracy, so we really don't know for sure.
The previous order of conditions has it on there, I believe.
That was from what, 1996?
No, The plan I'm looking at is 2004. That's the one that I had marked up.
Yeah, I see what the septic plan you're talking about, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the aerials on the screen?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see. Hold on. I'm coming back. Okay.
I'm just going back different dates. So this is 2019.
Could you zoom in a little bit on that? Thank you. Is that as far as you can zoom in? Oh. Wow.
How's that
Okay,
better?
not this area. This isn't from 2019, is it?
It is.
Can you go back to the shore? Was there a dock or a boat?
Here?
Yeah. Oh, there's a boat. Okay.
Well, no, there's nothing there now. I mean, I can go back.
Well, no, you're on 2019. Doesn't it look like there's a boat on the land right there? No, to the left. Yeah.
Not sure.
Oh, wow.
That's too misshapen to be a boat.
Okay.
That's a rock.
So this is 2008. You see the two docks?
Yep.
This kind of gives you more. There's a path that went down. It was all cleared.
Yeah, you can see the path better.
Yeah.
It was actually paved. This was probably that. It was probably a gravel pave that.
It was all regrind, and then I found that they had actually buried tarps all on there too that we're gonna remove. So we're really just trying to do the right thing and take the property back. A lot of those trees on that path, like I said, are choking out decent ones that would look nice, and then just the whole path is overgrown, and I mean, Sam Fatma, who's a great tree guy. I mean, they're very, very careful. They climb trees. They don't, just, we're going to be doing this together, and he's overseeing it, and he's got a great reputation. So
Could you zoom in on this one, Steve?
2001.
On the path part.
This is well, it's 2001, so it's hard. I mean,
Oh, okay.
maybe this is 2008.
Okay. Could you? Yeah. There you go.
It's distorted.
So the trees to be removed are directly along the access, right?
correct, directly.
So there's nothing. You're not going into the woods.
No.
More than what you need to just drive down there with your boat.
Correct.
Right.
It's 2011. It's kind of little, it's kind of gotten overgrown.
Looks like the docks are right there in 2011. They're just stacked.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. Right.
What is that red thing?
To the left?
That, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
14.
I mean, that was a long time ago. I doubt it's like a UFO or anything.
I think it's wheel.
No, because it wasn't 2020.
And this is 2019. But
Why are you so delayed on that? Well, this is 2019.
this is right here.
Doesn't look like that, does it?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, you can see how you can't see the path at all.
That really grew in there.
And the whole point, all that stuff that I talked about limbing up down there had grown in. I mean, like I said to you guys when we were doing the site visit, it's been abandoned for a couple of years, I think. So that's why it's in the shape it's in.
All right. Any comments? Arts. No comments. Katie Grace. We were all there.
Yep. I felt both when I was physically there and based on this marking that, sorry. Both when we were there and based on this marking that I would like a couple of the hemlocks on the right to be retained. And I think that this plan is a little aggressive. I'm not going to worry about the princess pines. I understand you got to get to the end of the driveway, and a lot of this is, yeah, it's new growth that's grown in, over the last few years when this project was abandoned. But I think that some of this should be retained. I'd like to see at least 2 to 4 hemlocks on the right towards the wetland retained.
Could you point those out?
I mean, I can put my finger on my computer screen.
No, just tell Steve.
That doesn't
So on the
help
left or the
anyone
right?
at all.
The hamburger helper.
They're on my right. They're towards the wetland. They're towards the property line. Yeah, there we go. You're covering. Okay, keep going. Like 2 of those.
The money sign right there?
No, not the money. The hemlocks are the hearts, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah, hemlocks are the hearts. I'm not as worried about the money signs. The money signs are just our fir trees. I'm less worried about the money signs.
Okay. I see.
I'm worried about the hearts.
Okay, could we specify though? Go
Blue hearts or red hearts?
Red hearts, because the blue ones are being retained. Or no, they're being trimmed, which is fine. So I'd like to keep at least a couple of the red hearts near the estimated 100-foot line to the right of the path, and then 2 more of the red hearts just before the triangles start. Probably the 2, keep those 2, take out the one closer to the path, and you can still, I would say, still trim them, change them from red to blue. They could still be trimmed, but I'd like to retain potentially, those 4 hemlocks.
Okay. And I'll just limb them up then. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a painting in yellow.
The 4. Steve.
This one?
That one can come down. That one, I don't need that one.
Oh.
No, I meant, so those one, and then back towards the 100-foot line, those 2.
This one?
Yeah.
And this one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Go stay.
Okay.
All right. Art?
So did I hear that the house is going to be raised now?
You know, he's got a demo permit for the house, and I haven't signed off on it yet. I figured have the commission give me permission to sign the permit.
I can kind of go through why we're doing that. We had 4 different people look at the house, and both of those returns, like I showed you guys when you were in the house, have failed, and the water has gotten, you know, significantly into the walls, even down through all the floors. And there's a significant mold issue, mold and mildew. So at first we had talked about maybe just tearing off all the stucco, like I had said before, and I showed a couple of you that there's no house wrap. This house was built with no house wrap, so no vapor barrier. So it's rotted from both the inside and the out. So eventually, you know, my wife and I have talked about hopefully sticking one of our kids with this house and then moving there, you know, to retire. And that's why we had thought about just doing it right rather than just trying to tear off the sheathing and take out all the insulation. So our demo intent is to just take the roof and the second floor off, leave the deck. We had the foundation looked at by a structural engineer and everything looks great. So leave that first deck and then reframe and go up from there. This was our intent with the existing kind of footprint.
So there's no excavation.
The only excavation there would be to tie in new perimeter drains for, you know, whatever downspouts. The electricity is already there, and it's a very nice service, so that's adequate. The foundation's good. It's really about building on, going back up from the existing foundation. We are going to add a 1 bay to the garage, but it is far from any sort of impact. It's well out of any sort of conservation jurisdiction because it's on that other side of the house. And we would do a, you know, our intent is to put in a driveway, but all those we would get permits for. That's all stuff we would get permits for. Did that answer?
Okay, board. We're fading fast. Okay, board. Yeah, any questions on the permit? Okay. Art? Any questions on the permit? I don't know if you're on mute. Eric?
No questions on the permit.
Nope.
Mark?
No.
Okay. All right. What's your pleasure, board? And Katie Grace, you're muted.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Just figured you didn't need to hear my cat every time.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Okay, thanks. Or the traffic. Anyway, you were asking what our plan is.
Yeah, what's your pleasure? We can stay here all night.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand. I mean, I'm happy.
I'll
I'm happy.
entertain the motion with your edits.
I'm happy to do that. I'm trying to make eye contact with the board to see what's going to happen.
Board? Art?
I think I'm okay with it.
Okay, so I'm going to make the motion
Yeah.
to issue this is an RDA. Yep, issue the RDA with the conditions that we're retaining the 4 trees that we mentioned as part of the edits.
Positive or negative?
Negative RDA, sorry.
Negative's good for them.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, roll call vote.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem abstain.
Do I need to vote?
I'm killing you, aren't I?
I'm just thinking of
You do.
Robert's rules, that's all.
Yeah,
Because it's the meeting. Okay, Tracy Sharkey, aye. So with our conditions that we typically make, no machinery parked within the 100 of any associated 100, all stumps to remain, and no chipping within the 100. Anything else you want to add as a condition?
Remove those hemlocks remain as modified on the plan.
3 hemlocks remain, and the other 4 are trimmed only. The other 4.
Yep.
You already said that, didn't you? As your
Yes,
first
I did.
condition?
I did already say that. I was missing the stumping and I was missing the machinery.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the 7 p.m. RDA. I believe I already opened this. This is a public meeting continued, correct, Steve?
Well, we have one more, 34 Conservation Drive.
Yeah, but this was continued and it's
It
on
is
the
continued.
agenda as, okay, because I've already read this. So William Hackett, I do not see him on
I
the
sent
meeting.
him, I personally sent him an email with the link and stuff. I know he's busy. He's got a side business, so I'm not sure where he's at. We can give him to,
It's pretty ridiculous,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
so you could always just, I mean, he's got the violation, so he's not allowed to do any more work. This is public hearings for him to do more work. You would have to come back and file again if you wanted to do more work.
We had a plan for restoration because he cut up to the wetland, the actual wetland.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
we
and
did a
read
site
it.
walk.
Yeah, we read it.
This guy.
So what happened is that he came with the meeting, he showed up, the advertising didn't, it wasn't on the agenda, even though he advertised.
Right.
And it's the one where the neighbors called them in, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So where are we at with this?
We're waiting for him to come in with a restoration plan.
He did. Well, he did have a couple of hand copied ones, but he's not here to explain it. So I can go out and check. I can go out and talk to him, see if he wants to, come on next Monday.
August 10th.
He has to.
Either he comes before us or he gets fined again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't blow this off.
I'll tell him to show up on the 10th, and I'll check out the site to see if he's doing any work.
It's a Zoom meeting. He doesn't even have to leave his house, and you're saying he's busy. I mean, we're granting him a lot of leeway. I've never seen somebody cut to the wetland and stop at the wetland and then not come to the meeting, ever. I mean, it's gonna be growing back. It's probably like already revegetated at this point.
It's probably.
So why don't you
I'll go out and take a look.
continue this one more time?
Yep.
Why don't we get some pictures or try to contact him, get some pictures of what the situation looks like now with all the heat and the rain and the, make sure nothing's moving around.
I mean, he could draw an as-built of the restoration that already occurred in the last 3 months.
I'll check I'll check the Google Earth maps.
Yeah.
And that fast.
Google Maps.
Yeah, Mark.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, he should provide a sketch that shows what he's planning to do.
That was the bottom line, is whatever his plan was, is that we wanted to see it. Like, if it was going to be lawn or if he was going to do anything, like, we just didn't know what the plan was. And if there's a plan at all, besides letting it all grow back, we need to know, right?
Exactly.
Well, he had, this is what, let me show, this is what he submitted. So he had something written. You can see this.
I don't think that cuts it.
No, I'm just showing you what he did. And then he had a little.
He wanted to make it a big lawn.
Yeah.
He did. And lawns are not habitat.
Okay, I'll
We
reach out.
gotta, yeah, Steve, you gotta try to get in communication with them.
So why don't we continue with this?
I mean, did he pay the violation fee, the fine?
Yeah, can we check on that?
I don't think you officially did that yet. Because the public hearing's not closed, so I'll check on that.
Well, what do you mean the public hearing's not closed?
Well, I don't think the town hall's been closed, so I don't know. I'll have to see if he submitted
He
anything.
can send a check in just like anybody else.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, so we would like you to get in contact with him and make sure he understands that this is serious.
Yep.
Then he has to pay the fine that we've issued, and he may be facing further fines if he doesn't communicate with us with a sufficient plan, draw on exactly what he's doing, do the measurements with the buffer, with the 50-foot, you're restoring it with the trees. It has to be something for the record. And that should have been submitted with his RDA.
Yeah.
He didn't submit one plan with the RDA. I mean, he must have an as-built septic that is recent, the plan.
Let me take a look. Been a while. Oh, yeah, wow. You really want to see it?
Yeah.
Is that bad?
It's that bad. I think I've seen it.
Oh,
No. No.
Did his kid draw this?
No.
My advice
This
was
is not
going to.
acceptable.
My
Guys,
advice.
there's no color. There's no color in this.
We should hire
I
a 20.
can't help.
I think his kid drew this.
So
No, because then there would at least be
It would do a
color.
better job.
my advice was to get a septic plan that has an as-built and then use that because it would have all the contours and stuff.
We're terrible.
We've got to stress to this person that they need to get their septic as-built from the Board of Health and sketch something on there. I'm absolutely sure that it has a buffer. It has probably even the intermittent stream located on it with the 100-foot.
You know, I think
This is an old house.
yeah, I think I've given him all that information.
I think this guy's just not taking this very seriously.
I mean,
So I don't know, we never really come into with this type of lack of communication. So Steve, let's see what you can do. We'll continue it to August 10th.
Yep.
Because it looks like he'll need the time. And maybe give us an update, Steve, before the meeting.
Okay.
I don't know, board, what do you think?
Yeah, August 10th. That sounds fine. Give him some time to comply.
I would agree.
So I would like to see on the plan, I would like the septic to be used and show his limit of work. He's saying he's planting trees and planting grass. So I'd like to see where the trees are, how many trees, the closest distance.
And I'd like to know if he's paid his fine too.
Yes. Also.
Okay. I'm writing it all down.
Thank you. Okay, board, I'll entertain a motion to continue this public meeting.
So moved. Continue to 34 Conservation Drive to August 10th at 7 p.m.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Art Motman, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Munjamai.
Okay, thank you very much. Sure. Next. So a very important thing on the agenda. So we did during our site walk. So first thing on old new business, 351 Southwest Main Street, we saw some dead trees. Do we want to have a consensus of what we talked about for those two dead trees only?
That looked fine to me.
Right. So I would be in agreement. They were was it gypsy moth?
Yeah.
Yeah, some damage.
So 2 stump to remain, and they had a professional arborist coming in to remove them. No bank shading or anything helpful to the resource area, right?
Correct.
That's consensus. Okay. All right. And so the next one is we need to adopt a method regarding the use of electronic signatures. So Steve has prepared the signature page that can be recorded. We did get 1 or 2 people did get rejected on their recordings for the electronic signatures because we didn't vote as a board and sign this document stating that we voted to allow it.
And I think the document has to be recorded at the registry.
It does, and I did ask for Maria to find out who, and I think I CC'd you, who would be paying for the recording, who is coordinating the recording. Our attorney could possibly electronically record from his office, or we can send it in. We need the document fee along with a self-addressed stamped envelope. So we have to have the motion be specific to the verbiage that is in our item under discussion. So it would be a motion to adopt, right?
Motion to adopt electronic signatures to be used by the commission members pursuant to Amendment 13-7 of the Massachusetts Deed Indexing Standards from 2018. Effective, do we still want to stay with this date?
Yes.
Okay, effective April 17th, 2020.
Motion's been made.
Seconded.
Seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay. Steve, we need to have that as original signature?
Probably,
Or
right?
no?
I would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll bring it to the site walk
There you go.
and then get as many as possible. And then who doesn't sign it, we'll have, we'll maybe just put it in their mailbox.
Okay, let me just take a peek. I did send all of the directions. It says, it says a vote must be made at a properly called meeting stating that the board recognizes and accepts the provisions of general law, chapter 110G, and the executed documents by members with electronic signatures or with wet ink signatures will carry the same legal weight and effect. I think we need to remake that motion.
Yeah, okay, I'll withdraw the motion I made.
Okay, and then who seconded that? Katie Grace?
Probably.
Steve, I sent you the guide for electronic, but I could read it, and if somebody wants to say so moved.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Yeah.
Okay, moved that the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission hereby recognizes and accepts the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 110G regarding electronic signatures, and that its members will henceforth execute documents either with electronic signatures or with wet ink signatures, and that both will carry the same legal weight and effect.
So moved.
Okay, motion's been made,
Seconded.
seconded, roll call vote.
Art Monmouth, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Thank you. Okay, so if adopted, a certificate of the vote is then prepared. So we had that prepared and not 100% sure if it has to be a wet signature. Oh no. Nope. It does not. So board members may, so the board, wait. I don't know. Steve, you got to double check it. I sent the Coleman and Page.
Okay.
And I sent our town council sent us the directions as well. I don't know. So Steve will have to get back to us tomorrow on that.
You can always do it again on Monday.
Well, we just either need to do electronic signature or the wet stamp. I'm not seeing what it's requiring quickly here. So that's that one. And request for certificate of compliance, Douglas Properties LLC, Wallum Lake Road, possible votes.
So this is the solar farm. That's continued to that set of property. I think this is in relationship to that solar farm is sitting on an old subdivision that was approved but never built. And so, and with that subdivision was a order of conditions, which this is referencing. So they never started the project. So,
and the request was no work has commenced.
That's true.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance.
But how do we know they're compliant?
Well,
it's no work has commenced.
So it's
well,
what's that?
Didn't they did the clearing and they put the dirt road in and they did the length, or was that the previous order?
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
No,
I know they didn't build the housing development, but like
road.
Well, there was a logging operation that was done.
Yeah, there's an old cart path going in there, I think.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a different location. Okay, yep.
Down by Wallum Lake.
Yeah.
I think this is the one that Steve and I went to.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is nothing going on right now, at least. And nothing happened with the old project.
Okay.
So any activity under that was granted under this order
Understood.
did not commence.
Yep.
So do you see it on the screen?
Yep.
So this is the solar farm is going in, and this is everything. So this is the subdivision, what it would look like if they built it with the road. And so what happens is an order of conditions with the detention ponds and everything else associated with the subdivision. It's on their Worcester deeds, so they want to get rid of it.
Yeah. Bottom line is if they do a solar farm, that's better than having 35 houses or whatever they were going to do probably anyway.
Right, and they're going to have to record the notice of intent on all over again for the stormwater and for the work they're doing.
We're going to have to do the same process we did with everybody else anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for
Seconded.
Douglas Properties.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Art Monmouth, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark,
Mark looks frozen.
do we lose him?
Oh, he might be there. He's just frozen. I think I saw his eyes move.
I think he says approved.
Okay, I'll vote too.
No, that's not how
Tracy
this
Sharkey,
works.
aye.
There you go.
Voting, back to voting. Okay, that's been, that's moved, that's been approved.
Mark's recused himself.
There you go.
Yeah, no vote on Mark on that one. Sign vouchers, possible votes.
Nothing.
Okay, and approve minutes.
I haven't seen any in a while.
Okay, yeah, I spent a lot of time going over these because we're getting too far behind. And you get to the point where, you know, this is important because this is for the public to have posterity down the road, for people to look at these things, and it's the whole checks and balances thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So I did review them all. And I mean, I don't know what you folks did, but personally, I came up with March 2nd was okay as the amendments that we had made last time. Because there were some errors that we got to Maria, and I guess they've corrected them because the new copy I had looked like it had been fixed up.
Okay. So you verified comments incorporated on March 2nd.
I did.
All right, then I'd be willing to approve that one.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes from the March 2nd Conservation Committee meeting as amended.
Seconded.
Motion been made and seconded, roll call vote.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
And have we lost Mark?
Oh yeah, he's gone now. He's like actually gone.
Okay, Tracy Sharkey, aye. So for March 2nd.
Okay, April 6th, I was also okay with.
Did we have oh my gosh, I didn't look at these.
April 6th, I was actually okay with the original draft.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I'd move that we approve the Conservation Committee Commission meeting minutes from April 6th as drafted.
Motion been made,
Seconded.
seconded, roll call vote.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye.
Tracy, do you want me to continue?
Yes, I would love that. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, no problem. On April 27th, they did make some modifications after there were some minor errors, but I'm personally still not comfortable with page 4. And it's too many spots where they say they lost the audio. And I don't know if there's any way to recapture, if somebody can go back and with some headphones on and maybe hear what was being said. But I'm not sure that I feel comfortable voting okay when I don't know. I don't know what's going in there, you know?
Yeah.
When did we get those?
I don't have a date when I got it.
It was on 6/11.
We got it as part of the 6/11 package? There's a 5/11 and a 6/15.
Draft minutes. Oh, did you not get it?
No, I think I did. I just don't think I can find it.
Yeah, we got 2 separate versions.
Okay.
But like I said, I got issues with both, so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking through the Google Drive for it, and it could very well be somewhere in my mail.
Yeah, that's where I found it. It was in my mail.
Okay, I gotta look for these because I would be more than willing to look over these myself and watch the YouTube video. I just don't have time ever, but I could make time.
Well, if that's the one that you need to take a look at, everybody, if they can, because take a,
Okay.
you know, I don't know, whatever resource we got, but like I said, from what I've gotten, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Okay.
My memory works okay sometimes. If I watch the video, I might be able to fill in some of the blanks. I'll print myself out a copy.
Maybe you can help us out.
Take an angry red marker.
Okay.
Not angry red marker.
On May 11th, I'm okay with that one as drafted.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the Conservation Commission minutes of the meeting held on May 11th as drafted.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, roll call.
Art Montley, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye.
On June 1st, that's the one that Steve and I walked out with a representative from the solar farm. And there is so many trees being cut down there. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds if they go through this project. And I asked about the stumps on purpose. I know what the lady told me when we went, but I asked about the stumps on purpose because I wanted to get it into the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When we got the draft, it's not in the minutes, and I got it in my notes that I asked that question on
Says stump details, etc.
Yeah, well, I was more specific than that. About there was going to be no stump removal, and that didn't make it into the minutes, the draft of the minutes I got.
Yeah, I think that's important to
When
put
there's
it
this
in
many.
there.
So I'd like to send, if it's okay with you folks, I'd like to send the June 1st ones back for somebody to either amend or take a look at the tape.
Well, yeah. Well, Art, if you the ladies watch, what she does is watch this, what you're saying right now.
Right.
Right.
And so you
But they do the Reader's Digest version on some of this stuff.
right.
And maybe they don't realize what's important. There was a reason I brought it up on purpose.
Right.
And I don't think they realize that because, I mean, Steve, you and I went out there. This is going to be hundreds and hundreds of stumps.
Right. So I think her Maria, is it not Maria? I forget the lady. The
Yeah, it's a
taker.
different lady. You're right.
And so we'll tell her right now that to watch the end of this. Maybe I'll email her. Watch the end of this and make sure that she edits that. And
From 9/12, I would just re-watch it and
rewatch it. Right.
specifically concerning stumps
one.
to remain and
Yeah.
what Art has mentioned.
On the Wallum Lake Road project.
Right.
Okay.
The rest of it looked okay, but I wasn't comfortable with that one. And then on 6/15, I never received it. If you guys did, I didn't have anything to look at, but it's on the agenda to vote on, and I never even got it.
I did not receive it either.
Oh, well, then we definitely can't vote on it.
So 6/1, 6/15, 4/27. All right, so if we could take a look at 4/27 specifically, and then we'll get the revised 6/1, and if we could get if we can get the 6/15 by next meeting, we could do that one too.
Maybe we could knock it out.
Revised all meeting, so we could do the 2 and then the meeting minutes. And then Steve, if you could please find out if you need electronic signatures and who is recording it and who is paying for the recording fee
Okay.
for that document. And okay, anything else, Steve?
I'm good.
You are good.
I am good.
And you're okay, so you're remaining
You're
with us?
efficient too.
Right.
I guess so far. I sent a letter.
Okay. Very good. And Paul did.
Oh no, I was looking at I'm on the Douglas website in my other monitor, and I'm trying to figure out where's the calendar with all the meetings on it.
The homepage.
It's on the homepage for the new Douglas website.
Yeah, scroll to the bottom.
Oh my goodness, it's right there. Look at that. I've been looking at for this for like 20 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't had any updates from anybody, my department head,
Okay.
the town. No one.
Okay.
Oh, look, we're having a conservation commission meeting right now.
All right, board, anything else? Do we want to stay for the night or?
I want to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, motion's been made,
Seconded.
seconded. Roll call vote.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Thank you very much, everybody.